Welcome to my most difficult and trying flip to date. We were visiting family down in Georgia, found this dresser and decided to give it a makeover. The plan was to do it in a nice, light, natural wood color, and the old finish was coming off so easily, it was going to be insanely perfect. It was right about now I started realizing this dresser was made up of different colored woods. You can see the center of the top is a much darker wood, but one of the edges was much lighter and another edge much darker. Our cute nephews and nieces would come out and check in on the progress of the dresser.
Do I need to spray it?
Not yet. I am gonna clean the inside out later.
I think I need to spray it.
I don't think so. He did eventually get to help, but no spraying was involved. Some of the pieces of this dresser were becoming really dark red, but like the drawers in the middle, they were still pretty light, and the edges of the drawers, a mixture of brown and red. Once I got everything sanded well enough, the color started to even out a little bit, though there was quite a bit of variation, so I thought a wax coat would be a great solution to this. It would protect the wood, it would seal it, and it wouldn't turn it red like a polyurethane or polyacrylic might. But, as you'll see in just a minute, I was very wrong. The application of the wax just made everything even more bright and bold, and it just wasn't going to work in the space we were shooting for. So I got some odorless mineral spirits and started to scrub off the wax. This worked okay, but then I had to go back and actually just use turpentine. It's pretty impossible to get all the wax off, and I didn't want to bust through the veneer of this dresser by sanding more because I think I'd sanded to the max. Here's an attempt at a beige wash. I hoped it would work, but I think too much wax residue was left over to keep it from soaking in equally in the wood. After beige washing everything, you can see the coloration was just bad. I did not like it at all, so I bailed and opted for paint, and we picked a flat paint by Behr in a tan gray color. Lesson learned on this one, do the beige wash first. It will work every time. It has worked on so many other projects. I don't know why I avoided that step. This entire project ended up taking almost a week to complete because I had to redo so many steps. But I learned a lot about myself, a lot about how I want to keep this furniture flipping business going in the future, and what type of projects I should take on or projects that I should just generally avoid. And things where I can't control the variables, like the wood I might find under a factory finish, painting is probably a better option. We bought several packs of paint stirring sticks, and Brad nailed them down to the center drawers. This would give it more visual interest. The brad nailer we had on hand was 16 gauge, And they don't sell 3/4 inch brad nails for a 16 gauge brad nailer. So finally, we were able to borrow this from a family member's friend. Unfortunately, there were some leaks in the hose and in the tank, so it wouldn't punch all the brad nails all the way through. So then we had to go through after with a hammer and an awl to recess all of the nails. I'm so grateful to my wonderful wife for coming out and helping me with this process. She really made me feel a lot better about the trajectory of the project and a lot better about some of our decisions. And it was just nice to spend some time with her doing this. When I cut down the paint stirring sticks to size, I didn't make them the perfect size on purpose. I wanted to sand them down better at the end so that we could get a perfect fit. Unfortunately, you'll see as I was sanding these down, the sander would flip some of these brad nailed pieces off, so I'd have to resecure them with wood glue. So that was a little annoying, but it was easy to overcome. This is the part of the project where you start to see some light at the end of the tunnel. We were painting over these wooden slats, but the wooden slats were filling up with paint, so we took this multi-tool just to clear out the gaps between. Here we are adding the final top coat. This was a good place to get to. Felt like we were really wrapping this up. You'll notice I filled in the holes on these drawers so we could put different hardware on than we had originally anticipated. Unfortunately, when I sanded down the filled holes, the sandpaper went through any of the wax or other protective finishes that were already on this. So when I came out the next morning, some of the natural wood color had bled through the paint because there was no protective coat underneath to keep it from bleeding through. So I had to redo the drawers in the morning with another protective coat and then paint and then a third protective coat. Here we are adding the hardware. It felt really, really good to get to this step. We used that piece of blue painter's tape to make sure the holes were consistent and even across the project. And finally, here's the before and here's the after.